Hi everyone, Jack Duvall here. Wanted to go through a post that I just put up yesterday on the Taro FSO Substack on the cannabis trade, which most of you know I've been on for quite a while, trading that via the MSOS ETF, which I've been long since 5.5. Anyway, I wanted to just go through this because there's some interesting things going on. Back on March 6th, I suggested, then this was behind the paywall, but I suggested that readers consider adding to their position. I had done so. Stock was down about 23% in the previous 19 trading days from February 6th. And it was down because basically there was no news. Volume was low, short sellers were in control, and they were, squashing the dreams of ordinary Americans. And I do mean ordinary because there's no institutional long game in cannabis because of a variety of legal reasons, including custody and federal law. All that's going to change here hopefully shortly. Anyway, I thought that Biden was going to talk cannabis and legal reform in the State of the Union. He did that. But then after that, it was announced that Vice President Kamala Harris was going to do a roundtable event with my man Fat Joe. That was announced on the 13th. Of course, that made me lean back. I wanted to get my MSOS position back up to 10% of the accounts. And I was only at 7 after my original addition that I made to it. So the day before that Kamala Harris Fat Joe event, the MSOS opened down again, even though it had been up the day before, and I bought another 2%. Taking me up to 9%. And why not? If you look at how these firms have been reporting, earnings up 20 to 30%, or I'm sorry, revenue up 20, 30%, adjusted EBITDA up the same in many instances. There was nothing not to like. It's basically just a low volume sell-off. And of course, we still have, the DEA is set to rule on the Health and Human Services recommendation to reschedule down to Schedule 3. So I thought I knew this, but I went back and checked, and sure enough, the DEA, all its leadership is appointed by the president. So the president wants this. He's going to get it. These DEA guys are going to do this, and for good reason, too. This is way overdue. So that's why I pulled the trigger. And by the way, I don't have a crystal ball. If it had kept going down, I was going to buy some more, get it back to 10%. Well, I had that Fat Joe Kamala Harris event on the 15th. In the morning, the MSOS gapped up because of some big options trades that hit. Todd Harrison had all that mapped out at Cannabis Confidential. You got to follow him if you're into cannabis. And then I think around 125, that event started on the 15th. Well, they went all the way up to 15% on the day and took my position up. Here's a chart of that action. So this shows the decline from the high up here, around 10, 60, wherever it was, came down over 22%. I added 1% here. Thing went down. Market wasn't listening to me. Thing went down. I added another 2% here. And that was after the Kamala Harris Fat Joe event had been announced. And then on the day of it, we get Fat Joe here with this candle. And then, of course, today on the 18th, we had another big up day it was up, I think, 6.3%. So that's, over 20% in the past 2 days. Look, I think we're still early days on this. This is going to go 4 or 5x from here, in my opinion. It's going to be volatile. It's going to be full of all kinds of BS out there, from the pharmaceutical lobby from the alcohol lobby, from all kinds of cranks and weirdos. But the truth of the matter is that basically, essentially 100% of Americans support medical marijuana use, and now over 70% support recreational, and that number keeps going up. So, it's going to get to be 100% on both sides of the ledger. And all the states are broke. Just keep that in mind. Every state of the union has to, every year, have a balanced budget. It doesn't mean they can't borrow and spend money that they don't have, which they do. They do that every day. But they need revenue. And this is, if you do it right and you legalize in your state, most of these states are getting, $150, $200 million of tax revenue out of thin air. And it just comes from the illicit marijuana trade, and then you don't have to spend money on cops to enforce it. You don't have to spend money on, detention, on jails and things like that for people, nonviolent criminals who are in jail because of possession or dealing. It's just a win-win all around. Most of these states put the money into public education. And the crazy thing about it, well, there's many crazy things, but a couple of great things. Number one, underage use of cannabis declines after it is legalized. That's fact. And also, and this is great news, your insurance premiums in a state that legalizes declines, because the incidence of illnesses that require medication decline, and also people who substitute cannabis for opioids and things like that, that number one are bad for you and very addictive, and also expensive. So anyway, this is a big winner all the way around, and I think it is still very early days. So hope you enjoyed this. If you did, check out the Taro FSO Substack. There I am. And I have a lot of free content up there. The recommendations, certainly when they first come out, are all behind the paywall, but it's not much, $25 a month for that. Thank you.